Welcome to the AT Center at TCNJ. This webinar series is titled Use of Partner-Assisted Scanning, PAS, and Other Communication Strategies to Uplift Individuals with Complex Communication Needs and to Support Their Interdependence, and is presented by Molly Ziegler. Molly specializes in working with school-age and young adult individuals with traumatic brain injuries, brain disorders, and multiple disabilities to provide them with access to robust, personally meaningful communication that supports their identity, exploration, quality of life, connections with others, and self-advocacy skills. Her passion has driven her to expand her work to include training, education, and coaching of family and caregivers to develop proactive and reactive strategies to manage the individual's regulatory, pain management, and self advocacy needs in an efficient, dignified, and autonomous manner. These webinars are made possible through our partnership with the New Jersey Department of Education, Office of Special Education. The statements issued by guest presenters do not reflect the stance of the NJDOE OSE. Please use your professional judgment when implementing strategies and resources within your practice. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's listen to Molly.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. This presentation has a long-winded title, but I promise it's worth it. It's going to outline use of partner-assisted scanning, PAS, and other communication strategies to uplift individuals with complex communication needs and to support their interdependence. More detailed, providing access to communication for regulation, pain management, comfort, self-advocacy, and direction of care in moments of discomfort, distress, and pain. Long-winded, like I said, but I promise we're going to get into more details. And I promise that I wouldn't be so long-winded if this weren't so important. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and why this is so important to me. My name's Molly Ziegler. I am a SLP. I hold my certificate of clinical competency from ASHA. I hold a teaching certificate in New York State, and I'm also an assistive technology professional in ATP. And I wanted to outline my passion and my mission to you guys, as I think it's really important and gives a lot of context for where I'm coming from in this presentation. So I specialize in working with school age and young adult individuals with traumatic brain injuries, brain disorders, and most of them have multiple disabilities. I work at a specialized school in New York City, and my goals there are to provide all these students and young adults to provide them access to robust, personally meaningful communication that supports their all these things. The list could go on, but I had to sum it up. Supports their identity exploration, their quality of life, their connections with others, and their self-advocacy skills. This is my passion. It has driven me to expand my work to include training, education, and coaching of family and caregivers. This is really, really key. Communication is a two-way street. Speech therapy, communication strategies cannot be done. The teaching of the skill is not complete. I will stop there and continue telling you about myself. I focus on this training to develop proactive and reactive strategies to manage individuals' regulatory, pain management, and self-advocacy needs. My emphasis here is this needs to be efficient, dignified, and as autonomous as possible. It's essential that individuals who rely on others to meet their physical needs, i.e. all the students I see, both in school and on my private caseload, that they're given opportunities to direct their care, connect with others socially, and pursue self-discovery and self-expression. These are rights. These are when we are in the position to be taking care of someone and be responsible for someone else's care. It is a right that we are responsible for giving them access to. Their physical well-being, level of self-esteem, and overall quality of life depend on their access to and autonomy in administration of regulatory and self-care strategies. That's me. That's my passion, my mission. I'll keep moving and expand it to what it has to do with today. So this presentation, it's going to explore the concept of interdependence. It's going to outline partner-assisted scanning. For those of you who don't know what it is, I didn't before I started working with this population, so it's not necessarily if you're a speech pathologist or work in special education or healthcare that you'll know what this is. We're going to discuss what it is and its implementation with individuals who have complex communication needs to support their access for that vocabulary we were already talking about. Not just the vocabulary, but a variety of language functions is something that I feel very passionate about as an SLP, directing others, asking questions. If we're only giving access to certain words and not giving the support that's necessary of whole phrases or helping form questions, then we're not giving them access to things that are key for connecting with other people, directing their care. There's a little case study in there on how I've kind of developed my own personal template or workup, where I start as an SLP with individuals with these needs in terms of directing their own care and using partner-assisted scanning to do so. And again, that case study, like I said, the proactive problem-solving booklet is the template that I co-constructed with one of my clients. Co-constructing is a term I've recently kind of adapted, which I heard at ATIA. I need to be quoting. I will put in a references slide the wonderful SLP I learned it from, but it means if someone has limited access to robust vocabulary for whatever reason, or limited access to activities, when we're doing something with them, writing, doing anything, and you want to describe how this was made and both give the dignity and the complete acknowledgement that this person directed and made and did this thing, but there were a bunch of supports in place that allowed it to happen, and celebrate how that works, that's what we call co-construction. Okay, so here's some questions that I think are going to be really meaningful for anyone who's watching this to be thinking about as we dive in here. And they're a little bit, bear with me here, they're heady. They're very big picture. I think in my experience with this population and in different settings, it's really important to step back and take a look at the really, really big picture. When we're working with other caregivers or families or anyone who is also responsible for supporting this individual's care, we got to help everybody zoom out to help everyone stay focused, stay grounded, prevent burnout. Like, I think it is a therapeutic intervention to provide those zoom ins and zoom outs as necessary. So we're kind of zooming out in this presentation. I zoom in at moments, but this presentation, maybe I'll continue making presentations that zoom in on different, more specific aspects, but I wanted to give this overview. I think it'll be really helpful for everyone. So the questions are, how can I amplify the voices and the humanity of individuals with complex communication needs? I love that word, amplify. Again, that is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to amplify and celebrate them. Number 2, how can I reconfigure what we call a meaningful life as it relates to individuals who will likely be interdependent for life or who battle with pain management difficulties daily? This is a wowza one for me. Reconfigure a meaningful life. I think all these questions are inherently going to provide us an opportunity to reflect on ourselves, which I also think is an essential part of this process of how can I help someone grow in these areas or find themselves, find comfort, if we can't give those to ourselves or be the one giving. So I, again, just think it's a great opportunity to reflect before we can teach. And we'll get into some of the vocab there of like, how can we reconfigure? We'll talk about it. And what interdependent is, we'll talk about that. Last question, how can I anchor dignity, expression, and possibility at the center of decisions made on these individuals' behalfs? Because the reality is, and we'll get into this, decisions will be made on these individuals' behalfs. If someone has a brain injury, brain disorder, multiple disability, the world we live in, the way that things have to move, the systems that we've created, constant decisions need to be made. There is not a way to bring every single decision to necessarily the person that it's about, which is really unfortunate and really scary. And that's why I wanted to focus on like, how can we determine which ones we should be the priority, which decisions should be the priority? How can we bring them to them in a way that they're going to really understand and be meaningful for them? And how can you just trust your own instinct and the rapport that you have with someone else to say like, hey, I can make, based on the work I've done with this person or conversations I'm having, like I feel confident in having this role of responsibility in this person's care. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take my face out of the presentation, keep my voice in, but I just wanted to thank you guys all in advance for coming, and I'm really looking forward to diving into these concepts with you.
Thank you for joining us. Are you a New Jersey educator looking for support or professional development tailored to your district's AT needs? We offer free, customized training and coaching for NJ teachers, paraprofessionals, and families. From hands-on workshops to individual classroom support and small group facilitation, we're here to help. Visit us at atcenter.tcnj.edu to learn more. Have a question? Contact us at atcenter@tcnj.edu. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content on all things assistive technology.